Well, guys, it looks like the NCAA has a little bit of a heart as it's now trying to help out these NBA elite prospects and also help out their game. And here we're going to talk about why their moves are the biggest chess moves and how it blindsided the NBA and also USA basketball. Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here, bringing you yet another video here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And before we get started on to today's video talking about the NCAA and how it blindsided both the NBA and the USA basketball, go and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Make sure to always check out our awesome content that we have out here. We have videos talking about, of course, our fixer-uppers, and also can Brandon Ingram become an NBA superstar, and also talk about can the Lakers win over 50 games. Go and check those videos out. Those are interesting watches. Now, of course, we got to talk about this new rule, and that's, of course, what the NCAA has just told everybody around the world. And as of course, the number one thing is that high school players and college players can now have agents, previously not allowed and could have been ineligible for the season, obviously with violations and stuff like that. But these agents have to be NCAA certified by 2020, I believe it is, and also have to be NBA PA certified. But there is a little bit of fuzziness to this rule because right now, according to Draft Express and other people that are talking about it, they have to say that now that NCAA clarifies that high school players will not be allowed to have agents until the age limit is removed, meaning the 2021 at the earliest, but most likely until 2022, because this is all depending on the NBA, PA, and the NBA discussing their agreement, saying, okay, you can be 18 to go into the league. No, you have to be 19. They have to continue battling that, and we're going to see who's going to win that battle because it's going to be an interesting one to face. The next thing also about this thing is that only elite college basketball players are allowed to have agents. So that means, I think according to them, they have to be selected by USA Basketball. And that's going to be an interesting one because I think Adrian Wojnarowski pointed out something with this. And he said, few are pleased with this handling of the NCAA release. USA Basketball and the NBA were blindsided with the NBA dictating that USAB would not, and that's of course USA Basketball, would decide which high school players could eventually hire agents. The USAB has no desire or the infrastructure for these evaluations. If anyone has the expertise, it's the NBA. And I wholeheartly agree with Adrian Wojnarowski there. The USA Basketball really is just inviting kids that, you know, I'm sure that NBA players are kind of, not NBA players, but NBA scouts and everyone else that to really watch from afar, like, okay, this guy looks like he could be a pretty good player. And I think the way that the NCAA should have done it was, okay, NBA, we're going to have you guys decide who's going to be an NBA pro, who's going to be more of a college kid. And then they can decide from there, like, okay, this kid, Sharif O'Neal, Bol, Zion Williamson, Cameron Reddish, RJ Barrett, okay, those guys are good to go. They can go and get agents because they eventually want to become NBA superstars and become NBA players themselves. So I think that is another thing that I think the NBA really should be involved in this process, not the USA Basketball. Even though USA Basketball is good, I think the NBA has a better understanding and the infrastructure that Adrian Wojnarowski was talking about to really determine what player is going to be an NBA player. You can kind of tell in high school a little bit. I mean, it was obviously obvious with LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, but with some guys you never know. And I think the NBA has the best perspective on it, even though they've whipped on a couple of guys. I think with these new rule changes, they'll help players tremendously. Another thing that we also have to talk about is that D1 schools must provide scholarships for players who leave early and return to earn a degree. This is a great thing because if a player is undrafted, he goes to the draft, and he's allowed to return back to school, then he gets that scholarship back and he gets to play. So there's no harm, no foul, even if you have an agent. I think that's a great move because what this does is that it allows the kids that are like, you know what, I think I can make it in the NBA, and teams are like, yeah, you know, we like you, we can see if we're going to draft you maybe in the second round, maybe in the first round, and then they go undrafted. It gives them an opportunity to come back to school, earn a degree, maybe associate's degree, and play basketball for as long as they need to until they feel like they are now ready, and teams feel like they are ready to become NBA players. This is a perfect thing for them. I hope that the NCAA kind of keeps by this rule. It's going to be interesting to see about transferring and stuff like that. Let's say a player didn't really have a good time, went to the draft, went out, and now is going to go to a different team. I don't know if they have to sit out a year or something like that. It'll be interesting to see what is going to be officially made for this kind of rule. The next thing we also have to talk about is now players can take up to 15 official visits now compared to 5. This is also great because what this does now, it doesn't kind of limit kids to being like, okay, I have to go to these 5. These are the only 5 schools I want. There are now 15. You now have allowed 15 colleges to kind of go in and say, okay, how about you take a visit here? Maybe we can entice you to come. This is all just a marketing play by the NCAA. I think it's a perfect idea for coaches that are trying to recruit these guys because they're trying to sell them on, hey, we can get you to the NBA if you want to. We can have you come here if you want. and it just gives kids more options than ever before. It's kind of like, it's just like flavors of ice cream. You don't have to be stuck with the vanilla and chocolate and strawberry. Now you have other flavors like Rocky Mountain, cookie dough, all these other type of flavors. And I think this is the reason why the NCAA wants to change this rules, because now it allows more competition from other guys to kind of compete in. It's no more longer the Kentuckys, the Dukes that are kind of like the first two schools, and then, you know, you're left with 3 schools that are good but can't really compete. But if you have 15, this allows the smaller schools, even some of the mid-range schools, to kind of be like, all right, maybe we have a chance to get this guy and convince him like, hey, you get a lot more playing time if you come with us than if you go to Duke. Another thing that we have to talk about here is, of course, the agent thing. We got to talk about it, and this is agents can pay for meals, lodging, and traveling during the negotiation period. The agent also must be certified by the NCAA, which I talked about. Terminate it. Unfortunately, what this means is that these players can kind of have an agent at the beginning, the elite ones, I should say. They have an option to kind of talk to agents, say like, oh, you know, you have a chance to go to the NBA. Let me talk to a couple guys, see if you are going to be NBA ready. And they kind of go back and decide, all right, you're NBA ready. So we're gonna close the deal now. I have your agreement that when you finish college, I will now be your agent and I can help you go on. And I think that's a perfect thing for NBA players, especially the ones that want to go to the NBA and are really obviously NBA talent and NBA ready. Those guys will be able to do everything to get what they need to do. And this is also what the article goes on to say. And of course, this is all by USA Today, Andrew Joseph. College fans won't immediately notice the change here, but it certainly suggests that NCAA expects high school players to be eligible for the NBA draft soon. That's, of course, talking about the NCAA rule that is kind of off right now until the age limit is lower. By making agents available to players, the NCAA is giving players an opportunity to pursue a professional career while keeping the option of college basketball alive. And this is why I think this is the ultimate chess move by the NCAA. We'll talk about more rules in a little bit. The reason why it's such a chess move is because this now puts the ball in the NBA's court and also the USA basketball's court in terms of picking talent. This is especially important because what this does is that now the NBA has to be like, okay, do we get rid of the one and done? There's more argument for it and against it. I think for the older veterans in the NBA, they're going to be against it because it takes opportunity away from them to be on NBA teams. But for the younger guys, it's like, you know what, let these guys go in. If they're good enough, and if you're confident in your ability enough, they'll take you over the younger guy. Obviously, you know, potential is something that a lot of NBA teams kind of bite on and just be like, all right, this guy has better potential than the guy that we have right now at age 32 compared to 22. Or I should say 18 to 32. We're going to be taking the 18-year-old because we think that he can grow to be somewhat better than the 32-year-old at some point. So we're going to have to say goodbye to the 32-year-old who will probably demand a little bit more money. It's unfortunate to see, but I think that's how the market should work. It should work as if your skills and talents are good enough, we'll take you. If you're not, then we won't take you. And I think that's a very good and excellent point. If we continue to see what the ESPN article has to go and say, and now I'm using ESPN as my source, this is what they have to say about summer basketball. Beginning in January, basketball-related events for high school students will be more scrutinized during the certification to address concerns about corruption and third-party influences amongst high school players. A new recruiting calendar in 2019 will allow college coaches to attend more high school-sponsored events, but will limit their access to the events not sponsored by high schools. Coaches will be permitted to attend National Basketball Players Association Top 100 Camp in mid-June, as well as 2 more events held at the end of the month. If the National Federation of State High School Associations has approved them, 4-day recruiting periods will be added to April as well. The new calendar also allows coaches to attend NCAA youth development camps in late July, which are a new collaboration between the NCAA, USA Basketball, the NBA, and NBA PA. They will also still attend one weekend youth basketball event in early July. Coaches could previously attend 3 weekends of youth basketball. And this is going to be another interesting one because now it kind of tells me that maybe they're trying to put back the emphasis on high school basketball. As we remember, high school basketball has kind of been lost in all this situation. We know AAU is taking a higher standing, and I think the reason why they're going back to college, or I should say, high school, is because they're a little bit more trustworthy than the AAU coaches and the AAU circuit itself. After the whole corruption thing, I think it's understandable why they want to go back to the high school system and say, let's see if we can get high school basketball up again, because I know a lot of participation could be down. You know, you have probably one of your better players in your area or your county doesn't want to play because he's going to be playing on the AAU year-round team. So I think this also kind of allows kids and also allows high schools to be more relevant than they've ever been before. Now we got to talk about the apparel companies. Effective immediately, college coaches and staff now report to the university president or chancellor their athletics-related income that exceeds more than $600 for any source outside of their school, including endorsements or consultation contracts with apparel companies like Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour. The NCAA said it's pursuing agreements with the apparel companies on its expectations for more accountability and transparency regarding companies' involvement in youth basketball, which hopes to have a place within 6 months to a year. The NCAA Board of Governors hopes to develop agreements that require apparel companies to make annual disclosure reports, NCAA violations, and obtain NCAA certification for its youth basketball events. If they are unwilling or unable to act, we will consider additional changes that will support the success of student athletes, Emmert said. It's on us to restore the integrity of college basketball, the interests of all student athletes. They deserve nothing less. And this is kind of an interesting thing because we all know that the whole thing started with the Adidas scandal, but you know, it could be Nike, it could have been Under Armour as well that could have been caught in that fire. But now it's going to look like that now that these companies have to report annually how much they spend in terms of what they're using for the youth events and all these other things. So they have to be transparent with the money that is going to these kind of youth things and also NCAA kind of certified events. And I think this is a good thing as well because it now allows these companies to be held accountable to say, all right, you paid this kid $10,000 for his family so that way he was able to go to that school that's an Adidas school so that he could eventually become an Adidas athlete. I think this is a great idea, but as much as I love the rule changes that we have here, I also have to call out the NCAA because what this means is that we're one step further, but we're also taking a step back because we haven't really discovered the biggest thing, and that's, of course, when a college player is making a lot of money for your team or whatever it is. Let's say, for example, for me, for the University of Utah, was Kyle Kuzma at the time. Kyle Kuzma made all this merchandise for you. Brandon Taylor also, and we have other guys as well. Jakob Poeltl when he was there. If those guys make the school that much money, then I think you should also be able to pay the player as well. Let him at least sponsor himself so that way he's able to earn a little bit more Skrilla than I think, you know, without earning anything, you know, a college degree and all that stuff. These kids deserve the money that I believe that I've talked about it numerous times before. If a mathematician or a scientist creates a new formula, or if they create something new like a new chemical or a new drug to help with some sort of disease, those guys are able to sell that for millions and billions of dollars if they wanted to, compared to NCAA athletes who have to kind of say, well, there goes all the money I gave to the school. They really need to work on that. The NCAA took the step in the right direction, and like I said, they made the ultimate chess move by saying, hey, let's put the ball in the NBA and USA Basketball's court so we can see what they can say about our rule changes. And now we'll see if the NBA and USA Basketball will kind of team up together and make another chess move to the NCAA Basketball and see what they can do. But other than that, guys, I want to know your guys' opinion on this story. Do you guys think it's fair with these rule changes that I talked about? I know it's a lot, but I think it's very necessary to talk about them in detail. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you are going to be an NCAA athlete. Do you agree with these rules? Or if you were an NCAA athlete and now you kind of see what's going on, do you think this is fair? And would you guys have liked this back in your day? I would love to know your guys' opinion in the comments down below. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Go and check out this opinion that I have here. Go and check out our other videos that we have on the channel. Hit the subscribe button and that like button or dislike button. It's a free country. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.